Okay, so we've moved the login function and the create account functions into our use auth hook here. So the last thing that we're going to need to do is move the log out function into this hook so that we can get that logic out of our logout button. Now, first of all, our logout button has some pretty specific functionality, so we may well just want to leave this in here, but just for consistency, I'm going to move this logout function into our custom use auth hook here. That'll just give us a little more practice with how it works. So what we're going to do is create a new logout function. For that, we'll say const logout equals async. Okay, and we don't need any arguments for this one. It's just going to be an empty function, which should make it easier to switch over. And up here at the top, we're going to say sign out. Okay, that's the function we want. And inside here now, we're going to say const auth equals auth, or get auth rather, get auth. Okay, and under that we're going to say await sign out and pass auth as an argument, and that should basically allow the user to be successfully logged out. All right, so really all we have to do is return this logout function as part of this object that we're returning from useAuth. And inside our logout button component now, we're going to remove this logout function. Okay, yep, everything looks good there. We're going to remove the import, and the one import that we are going to have is our useAuth hook. And for that, I'm going to just say const logout equals useAuth. And that's really all there is to it. So let's go check out this logout button now that we've converted it over. We're going to try logging in. We'll say Sean. We'll just log in as Sean7, I suppose. And 1, 2, 3, log in. And sure enough, we see that we're logged in. So let's try logging out now. We'll click log out. And it looks like everything's working. Now, the beauty of having these things encapsulated inside our useAuth hook now, let's say that we wanted to log out, let's say, when the user clicked on something other than the logout button. Well, basically, all we would have to do in that case is, if we open up our home page here, all we would have to do is basically say const logout equals useAuth. Okay, and then we could just make anything, right? It could just be even a button here that says onClick equals logout. And if we made that say log out, that's basically what our logout button is. So it could be argued that we don't even need this logout button component anymore. So I'm just going to delete that. And if we go back and take a look, let's log in here again. Say sean7@gmail.com. Password abc123. We should see that this button will work exactly the same as the logout button component. So essentially, before, what we were doing is we were using this separate logout button component to encapsulate all of the logic for logging out, but we don't really need that anymore. So I'm going to just get rid of this button. And wherever we needed to log out, let's say in our navbar component, we'll need to do that. What I'm going to do is remove the logout button. And I think I did that here, yeah. We'll need to remove that from our home page too, the import. And we're going to just import the logout function from our useAuth custom hook. So we'll say equals useAuth. And then down here where we had our logout button, we're just going to replace that with a regular old button that says button onClick equals logout. And we'll make that say log out. Okay, so we can see now that that's got the exact same, well, here we have to log in yet again to check this, but click log in. Sure enough, we see that both those buttons look and behave exactly the same as before. Okay, so, and the same goes, by the way, for the other functions that we have here. If, let's say, we wanted to create an account from some other kind of situation, right? Like maybe a user comes in through an email campaign that we do, and we have a separate landing page for that that allows them to create an account. Well, all we would have to do in that situation is just say create account. We'd have to load it from this custom hook, and we could just use it without having to copy and paste all of this logic. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the real power of creating custom hooks like this, and hopefully this has also improved your experience with Firebase Auth. So I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.